Hi, it's Zentrol here as well. I thought you were going to lead me in.
How do I lead you in?
I don't know. I don't know.
What should I
Just keep
say?
going. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. This is all staying in. Just keep going.
What? No, no. Okay, all right, whatever. Yeah. So we are here today with another episode of the podcast, and we're going to be talking about some tournament things. First tournament of 10th edition for both of us,
My
and
my first tournament ever.
yeah, what you don't count that Christmas tournament, the
No,
two
no, not
1,000
really.
point games where
No.
everybody just got like store credit. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
no.
Well, in that case, this is my first tournament since fifth
Fifth?
edition.
Yeah.
First 40K tournament since fifth edition. So at least 10 years. It's been well over 10 years. Probably 12, 13 years or so
Ooh.
since I have been to an actual 40K tournament. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about kind of our lists and kind of breaking down our ideas for the tournament and what we're hoping to do. And yeah, we'll just kind of chat about what kind of hobby stuff we're doing. I'm going to be sitting here assembling some minis because I am tired of painting these Votan just a little bit, so I'm taking a little break from it. Yeah, Zen, you gonna be doing any hobbying? You can't, right? You can't do hobbying.
No, my computer's in my basement. My hobby stuff's in a different room, and on the first floor of my home. So yeah, no, I'm just gonna be sitting here jiggling my mouse so my computer doesn't fall asleep.
Sweet. But hey, whatever works, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, Zen, what have you been doing past couple weeks, hobby
So
wise?
So I actually, like, right before the stream, I finished up my Inceptors. Very recently, you had printed the smoke trail flight stands. Those we attached on, what was it, Monday? Oh, Sunday.
Sunday, yeah, it
Yep.
was Sunday, wasn't it?
Yep. You came over to my house. We had lunch together, a nice little lunch date. And yeah,
It was a nice date. Yeah.
and we finished assembling the Inceptors, got them pinned to the base, got them glued to the Inceptors themselves. Today I went back and did a little bit of touch-up work. I threw some wet transfers onto my Tech Marines, so they have Imperial Fist on their shoulder pauldrons now. Did some touch-up work on the bottom of the flight stands themselves, the smoke flight stands. Yeah, and then magnetized all those bases. So yeah, they're all going to be good to go for the tournament. Other than that, I just painted a Fab Stody, I believe it's called. It's a Custody from Emperor TTS
Yeah.
series. Yeah,
That guy.
yeah. I painted up one of them for a viewer of mine. It's part of my channel point redemption thing. So painted that up on stream on Saturday. But yeah, other than that, hobbying's been kind of dying down. Got everything ready for the tournament, so I could go back to focusing on my Night Lords.
Nice.
Yep. What about you? What have you been doing
Very cool.
as far as the hobby is concerned?
I have been. See, I've been painting some Ultramarines, trying to get things ready for the tournament because I am taking Ultramarines. So, as much as I want to take some of the other cool stuff that I have, I think Ultramarines are kind of the most like complete and well painted and kind of modern army that I have. So
Yeah.
I just pretty much figured I would stick with them. Yeah, so I've been painting those. I don't know, I've painted maybe 15 minis between aggressors and infiltrators and vehicle turrets and characters or whatever. So I've been working on that. And then I also have a commission I've been working on, some Leagues of Votan. And I'll tell you guys, it's kind of kicking my butt.
18 bikes.
18 Hernkin Pioneers.
Bikes.
And I misjudged not how much work it was going to be, but how I should have ordered my colors here. Because I figured doing the main armor panel color with the airbrush and doing all that first was the way to go. It's definitely not the way to go. I should have base coated these silver and then just painted the armor panels in. I would have saved myself so much time.
Really?
And, yeah, I'm way beyond the point to where I can go back and restart that. So I'm just I made my bed and I have to lie in it. That's pretty much where I am right now.
Yeah, because the armor panels are already painted, dry brushed, and washed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The armor panels are functionally done as far as the work goes, but now I'm painting all this silver underneath the armor panels, and I'm just painting all the armor panels anyway because there's no way to like reach some of these spots.
Right.
It's pretty wild. It's all right though. I'll get it done. Hopefully in the next week or so. I'm just trying to finish these base colors, and then I can just move on to the next bit. But the silver is taking hours, hours and hours. So yeah, that's been my fun past couple weeks of hobbying. Really, there is a little bit of gaming stuff that's happened.
That's right.
That's right. Gaming kind of news things, and we kind of tried a game, but yeah, Pariah Nexus came out.
It sure did, and so did a massive data slate.
Yeah, in the like 30, I think it's like 33 pages of like new rules.
Yeah. Insanity.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And I in my infinite painting dad wisdom thought that I read the rules the random morning when they came out, and I had like an hour and a half before I started stream. Yeah, I thought that I had read the rules there, and it turns out I missed a whole lot. And so the day after they came out, me and Xen played a game of 40K in person, and we just got everything wrong.
Yeah, like a vast majority of it we got wrong. Yeah,
so much.
Yeah, you had thought Lone Operative had gone up from 12 inches to 18 inches. That's false. It's just for stratagems.
They talk about that. Yeah, that's not a thing.
The +1, -1 modifiers for ballistic skill, weapon skill, saves. We had both kind of misinterpreted that as being it stacks now. There's no cap on it anymore.
They word everything so strange.
Yeah, I don't know why they did. The only thing that would make sense to me is if you have a 2-up. If you have a 2-up ballistic skill, you can't make it a 1-up, right? Like they kind of negated that. Yeah. Like they made it clear in the rules, but the way they wrote it was your ballistic skill can't be better than a 1+.
Yeah,
okay.
I think what's really strange about that is I'm almost positive they have a rule in the rule book that says a roll of 1 always fails.
Yes, because your modifiers are added after you roll. So when you roll a nat 1, it fails regardless. If you roll a 2, then you add your modifiers to that dice.
Yeah, it's just strange that like they ended up spending paragraphs of edits in Pariah Nexus.
Yes.
In order to tell you that 1s always fail.
Yeah. Nonsense.
That's crazy to me. And then there's just like they didn't change it. So, I really had that rule wrong. The lone op thing was another weird thing, just because like they put 2 documents on their community page, and they put 2 more like just in the downloads page and just like shoved them to the side. And so if you just read the balanced data slate and like the points change page or whatever, the points page, the field manual or whatever, you don't get the whole picture of the rules. And so they talk about like, rules that limit line of sight to 12 inches are actually 18 inches. But then you see like, okay, that's stratagems, and that's just in the balanced data slate. And so then it just affects the different army stratagems, and like, just reading through it and like trying to see it real quick. I've never dealt with FAQs that are like this frustrating to just get the rules.
No, and that's like what a lot of people are talking about. I think even like Poorhammer, the podcast, complained about it because why are there 2 articles now that you need to reference, and if you're a tournament player, you have a 3rd one. Because the Pariah Nexus tournament, like player pack or whatever that one document is called, that has slightly different rules than the others.
Yeah.
Their pivot rules are different in the tournament pack. Very, very, very bizarre that they released such a huge update to everything and got it, and then didn't consolidate it into one place. It's very, very bizarre.
Yeah, and it's frustrating too when they put in all these changes and they're like, we're going to errata this, just change, or add this text in or something. But then they don't explain to you the actual change. They're like, hey, we added this, but like, what does that mean, really? Like, it would be very helpful for them to be like, it was this, now it's this.
Yeah, they should add, it would make the document a little bit longer. But anytime you add in something, the previous text should be like in a strikeout font for just that document. When you update it in the index or in the core rules, obviously you just make the change.
Yeah,
But
that would be a really good idea. Yeah.
yeah, because I was reading through the balance data sheet, and I was like, oh, what the hell is Twist of Fate for Thousand Suns? Because I know somebody that plays Thousand Suns, so I was kind of looking, and I was like, wait a minute, Twist of Fate is like Armor Pen 2 now. Okay, what the hell was it before? And I can't find it anymore because it's updated. It's gone. It's thrown into the Imperium. But Twist of Fate used to be the thing that removes armor saves. What the fuck? That's a huge change. I had no idea.
Yeah, who knows, right? Like, it's yeah, that's yeah. It's like, if you follow the game super closely and you're playing all the time, and you're like really into I guess knowing all the rules for everybody, it's probably not that big of a deal. But there are like tiny things that change that would seemingly have a big effect, but in reality it's just GW adding 3 paragraphs of text to not actually change anything. I don't know if it's necessarily clarifying things.
Yeah. Very, very confusing. But it was cool to see. Our tournament, we had to bug the guy to get him to pick the missions because he had missions picked for Leviathan mission pack. So we were just waiting for him to pick Pariah Nexus campaign mission packs.
Yeah, the term we're going to is an RTT, and
yes.
I know I heard some back and forth about should you know the missions ahead of time, should you not, and I think the idea for this one, because we know ahead of time because a lot of the organizers are playing in the tournament, because it's just like a kind of a fun local thing. It's not
okay.
it's like 20 people or so, and that would be a really unfair advantage if the guy running the tournament is playing in it and he chose the missions
in secret.
Yeah, or the people on his team, because it is like a team that's running the tournament. So
right.
Yeah, so we knew the missions ahead of time, and the gentleman was he was very friendly about it. I had no issues. It was just, I think he probably just got caught up in other things, and he's like, yeah, I'll update it on Sunday. Cool. Like Monday rolls around, it's not updated. I'm like, hey, get these updated yet? And it was like 5 minutes later. Yeah, he's like,
did you get that thing I sent you?
Yeah, did you get that thing I sent you? Yeah, get those TPS reports in.
Yeah. Well, a big reason why we both want to know, more so you than me, but the reason why we want to know what the missions are going to be is we want to not really skew our list to help with it, but with Pariah Nexus having a big change for battle line units, we wanted to make sure we had enough battle line in our list to begin with. So yeah. Did you actually end up changing your list at all, TPD, to match this, or are you kind of just running with what you ran last week when we played?
I changed my list a lot.
Oh, okay.
A lot. I skewed it a lot heavier. I think I realized, looking through the new mission pack, the Pariah Nexus stuff, and seeing the terrain, because we played on one of the new terrain setups. It actually happened to be the terrain setup we're going to be playing on in the tournament, and seeing the missions and just kind of like figuring more out about my list. I skewed my list a lot heavier toward melee, and removed some of like the kind of more expensive items, kind of broke them down.
Okay.
A little more MSU. I don't think my list is hyper optimized competitive.
But I don't think mine is either, obviously, right? I'm not bringing Desolation units and Whirlwinds out the ass, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're playing Ironstorm now, which just got like the biggest nerf out of anybody.
Yeah. The only thing that really got nerfed in all of the Space Marine stuff was that. Yeah.
Yeah, your enhancements and your.
Yep, they're no longer auras.
Nerfed, did they?
No. Well, a couple things. Both Gladiator. Well, 2 out of the 3 Gladiator variants. The Gladiator Reaper and the Gladiator something else, not the Lancer, which is what I take. They both got points nerfs. I think the Storm Speeders got a nerf for some reason. What? And then my enhancements, because they lost aura and instead of just pick a vehicle and they get buffs, that got a points buff because it makes sense.
Which is strange, though. I mean, it's cool. It's cool that got a points buff, but it's funny because there are other units in the Space Marine book like Eliminators, were one that they
Right.
have this one trick where you shoot and then they move after they shoot, so you move into a transport, and then you shoot out of the transport with firing deck. Obviously, not a very intentional rule. You know, like it's obvious that that rule is not how it's supposed to be, not being played as intended. But they clarify that you can't do that.
Yep.
And then they didn't touch the points for eliminators.
Yeah, yeah, because
probably the only reason people were bringing eliminators was for that rule.
yeah, yeah, and same thing with Hellblasters, right? Like I think Hellblasters are now you're gonna see way less of them on the field because a lot of people will doing the Impulsor Hellblaster trick, where
Yeah.
you shoot all the dudes out of it. You hope maybe you'll end up like blowing up the tank, and then as it blows up, you get out and you shoot again.
Yeah. Yeah, like those little tricks. It's Space Marines didn't get a lot of points changes overall, but it's just interesting that they removed a lot of utility, and then core Space Marines didn't really get the points changes. It seems like core Space Marines are paying for the sins of the Divergent chapters. Reality, like they don't want the tricks. But they they don't want to help Space Marines either. So. Not that I'm complaining. I'm just playing Space Marines at a tournament.
Right. So yeah, you wanna go over your list and see what you're bringing?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, and I wanted this to be like a final list. I don't know if this is going to be a final list of mine. I've been kind of debating back and forth. I actually made a list with Rabute Gilliman.
Whoa.
Just to mess around. It was going to be like Captain Planet and his like Space Marine like character buddies that have the rings. I don't even know what you call those people, the kids or whatever from the old cartoon.
The Planeteers, dude.
Were they the Planeteers?
Yeah.
Dang, man. Okay, it's been so long. It's been so long since I've seen that show. Anyway,
would the Victrix guard be like the monkey that hung out with the Brazilian kid for love?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you not remember that?
What an 80s show. I vaguely remember.
Yeah.
Oh, the stereotypes. Okay. Anyway, so my current list, it's 2,000 points on the dot playing Gladius Task Force because the most Ultramarines Task Force. So I'll quickly run down the list and I'll kind of talk about some of my thoughts, like how I'm hoping to play this list. I have Chief Librarian Tigurius, Marnius Calgar and friends, his Victrix, Uriel Ventress, an Apothecary Biologist with Fire Discipline, a Judiciar with Artificer Armor. I had 10 points spare, so Artificer Armor's in.
Yeah, give it to him.
2 Assault Intercessor squads, full squads of 10. I gave the Sergeant a Power Fist and Plasma Pistol.
Classic.
5 Heavy Intercessors with a Heavy Bolter.
Yeah.
Yep. I figured you'd like that one.
Yeah.
2 squads of 5 Intercessors with the Grenade Launcher, and the Sergeant has the Power Fist. And I think I kept a Bolter on him also, but he's got a Power Fist.
Yeah.
That's my battle line. So 5 squads of battle line. So it's really heavily skewed into battle line. A big squad of 6 Aggressors, which is actually my most expensive squad out of anything in my army. So the 6 Aggressors, and I gave them the Bolt Storm and the Frag Storm grenade launchers. So they go with Calgar and the Apothecary with Fire Discipline. Yeah, so their idea is to put out a lot of damage. 6 Blade Guard Veterans, that'll be joined by Tigurius. Company Heroes, joined by Ventress. 3 Eradicators. 3 Inceptors with the Plasma Exterminators. And then 2 squads of 5 Infiltrators.
Nice. That's 2,000 points?
That's 2,000 points.
Whoa. Yeah,
that's a lot.
It's just straight up like dudes on foot. Right?
Yeah. It's all infantry spam. And so I had a couple thoughts with this list. I originally had a repulsor, and like things were really built around this repulsor. And then I was like, well, I want some dreadnoughts too, because I like dreadnoughts. And the dreadnoughts are okay. Like, they're really good in Ironstorm. Like, Gladius, they're kind of take it or leave it, I guess, like, as far as dreadnoughts go. But the Redemptor dreadnought I had, what is that thing? 210, 240 points, something like that?
A Redemptor is, 210.
210. Yeah, that's expensive.
Right.
That's really expensive. They're really good. but it's really expensive. Like my most expensive unit here is 240, but it's just the one squad of aggressors. Everything else is sub 200 points. Um, and a lot of my stuff is 100 points or lower. So it's very much like MSU, but I don't know even know if I'd call it like a multiple small unit like spam army. But yeah. So and I was kind of I had the blade guard would go in the repulsor, and then I was like, well, the repulsor it's kind of hit or miss when it does damage. What it'd be really good for is running up the board and like sitting on a point, right? And then dumping out the blade guard when it's convenient. The problem is I'm always so scared it's going to get blown up in one turn that I just hide it.
Yeah.
And so it ends up being like a backline objective holder, and then it's holding blade guard in it, which don't seem like a unit that want to sit in the back line. And it's 180 points.
For it to just sit.
Yeah, for it to sit and be basically 3 las cannons.
Yeah, guarding your home base, which is like really silly.
Yeah. So I took that out and I was able to add a lot of stuff. The blade guard on foot going with Tigerius. It's kind of like a calculated move. I had him with a lieutenant, and I really like the lieutenant. Unfortunately, you can't put a lieutenant with a librarian in a squad, which is a little silly to me. But
he could only go with a captain or a chapter master, correct?
Yeah. Tigerius is really good though because he does give -1 to hit all the time to his squad. Right. So he makes them a lot tankier. So they're kind of more worth it on foot.
Well, -1 to wound, isn't it?
It's to hit.
It's to hit. Okay.
Yep. And it's always to hit. So melee and shooting gives them -1 to hit.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah. So he does good with that, and they can still get, advance and charge with Assault Doctrine. They can still get advance and shoot for Tigerius, like blasting people with his crazy mind bullets that he has.
Yeah.
So I figured on foot, they're pretty easy to hide. It's 7 minis. I can put them in buildings, and they can charge up the board and advance and charge when they need to. Calgar and the biologists with the aggressors, they just put out tons of damage. They'll blow up tanks with bolt storm gauntlets. They'll charge in and they'll blow up things in melee. Just rerolls and sustained and lethal.
Twin link power fist.
Yeah, twin link power fist. Yeah, then twin link the bolt storm gauntlets are just wild. When you can stack AP2 on them, it ignores cover.
Yup.
Sustained and lethal on 5+. You can really get like the combos. But they're really there for damage, and they all get advanced shoot and fall back shoot and charge because Calgar gives them that.
Yep.
So, and Calgar's there for the CP generation because there's lots of good stratagems in Gladius that I want to use. So, it's basically I'm going to force myself never to use rerolls, and it's going to be all about just taking advantage of the really good strats in the detachment. I do have the Judiciary. I've had really good, luck performance results using the Judiciary. Every time I've used this dude, I just put him with Assault Intercessors. Big blob of Assault Intercessors. They give him rerolls to wound on objectives, and he does decent work on his own.
Yeah. They came up and clogged up one side of the board when we played. And then it's a shame you can't bring that lieutenant because having lethals on the blade guard is brutal.
Lethals is really good on the blade guard. Yeah. I feel like I could give them Lance with a CP, which is the +1 to wound on the charge. So I might have to take advantage of that a little more on the blade guard with Tigerius. But the -1 to hit and 4-up feel no pains against like mortals and psychic damage and stuff is really good. He also gives them he'll give that squad a once per battle round a 0 CP stratagem, kind of like a captain, but it's or -1 CP. They're all 1 CP anyway. But Overwatch, or they have heroic intervention I can do with them, which is really good. What else? There's like go to ground. There's a couple of them that he can do for him. So
well, isn't it? Didn't they get rid of the fact that it has to be a battle tactic? Like, isn't it just like any stratagem now is -1 CP with that ability?
Yeah, so with characters that do the free strat per turn or whatever. It's any strat. Tigurius is specific in the stratagems he lets you use for 0
Oh,
CP.
okay.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 of the like the basic like rulebook stratagems that he lets you use for free.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So in general, the plan is you have Uriel Ventures. I pick a squad to deep strike. I I have like a full range of squads I can deep strike with this list. You know, I can put down Eradicators. I can deep strike, which might be a good plan a lot of the time. Even the Blade Guard vets with Tigurius, the Company Heroes with Ventress. You know, even the Aggressors with Marinates Calgar. We talked about this the other night, which was Rapid Ingress. If I'm going second, I could Rapid Ingress them at the start of turn 2,
Yep.
and then they're there for turn 2, so I get the CP from Calgar, and then they can just go wild doing whatever they need to do. So so there's a lot they can do, but a lot of battle line, a lot of just pushing up the board and just like swamping my opponent in attacks and rerolls while keeping infiltrators to screen out deep strike, using intercessors to tag objectives to do those like raise the banner kind of actions, and you know, those secondaries that require, but yeah, all those things that require battle line units. Like I have intercessors. Heavy intercessors might just kind of sit still on a on like home objective kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what they're kind of good at. The heavy intercessors are more the afterthought than just about everything else in the list.
Yeah.
I had 100 points, and you know, that's the minis I had right there. So another 3 Eradicators would probably be really good, and they're only 95 points. But
Then the problem is, like we talked about, like getting them into melter range. Like that's the only problem with Eradicators. Yeah. I think what most people do is they just walk them on the board edge, right? You put them in strategic reserves and walk them on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
One advantage Gladius does have is Devastator Doctrine. So I can advance and shoot them.
Right, yeah. So that wouldn't be bad for turn 1 or 2.
And I saw a tactic people do. They take an Apothecary Biologist with Fire Discipline, and they put it in Eradicators instead of, you know, with Aggressors. Because they're cheaper. It's only 190 points for those 6.
Right.
And you get the Sustained and Lethal, and then you'll get like Ignores Cover, and you can use like the strats and everything, but just with all the rerolls and all of that, like you're going to kill a whole bunch of stuff with them, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Just straight up take down a vehicle.
Yeah. So yeah, Company Heroes are there to be tough. I mean, they're just, it's just a really tough unit to kill, and they do like mediocre damage, but sometimes that's enough. Inceptors drop down, and they're just action and objective scores. Infiltrators screen or grab early objectives, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I it's very much like a rush build, like a melee, close range focused Ultramarines army.
Yeah, just get up in the thick of things, right?
Yeah, and it seemed to work for me. Like there's no just like messing around. It's just I just go. I hide for a turn and then I just go.
Yeah.
You know, the one big issue with this list is I have one dedicated anti-tank unit. It's the Eradicators.
Right.
Everything else is low strength and relying on rerolls or lethal hits or, you know, +1s to like Lance or whatever, like all those like little tricks built into the list.
I wonder how skewed people's lists are going to be to go more battle line heavy, given the secondaries and stuff like that, like we talked about. So I'm wondering if the meta is going to shift away from vehicles to more troops on the field.
Yeah, and that could very well be, and that would be amazing for me if that's the case. Because my list is very well equipped to deal with that. But yeah, I figured, you know, I can deal with some vehicles. If they're going to sit in the back line and hit me with indirect weapons, like there's not much I'm going to do about that anyway. Like Inceptors can come in and shoot at stuff, but it's not really what they're there for, and they don't do a ton of damage.
Well,
so
they really don't.
It's pretty much I move and I face tank things with 50 Space Marine bodies on the board, and a lot of those are buffed up with characters. So I have 5 characters and 4 units to really buff them up. But yeah, there are some things that I can remove. I did one alteration to this list. I was messing around with it. I took out 1 infiltrator squad I took out the heavy intercessors and an assault intercessor squad
Okay.
that didn't have a character with it. That gave me 350 points exactly.
And then you put Gilliman in?
Yep, I put Bobby G in the list, which
Ooh.
sounds really cool, and he does so much damage in melee. He has a crazy weapon. He has some decent rules. It's a lot of points in characters at that. I mean, I'm at, let's see, 165 plus 335 plus 350. I mean, almost, what was that, like 900 points in characters.
You know, just characters alone, yeah.
Yeah, but he can move through walls. He can hide on the first floor and then just run through a wall.
Right.
And he can still advance and charge.
I think the only real reason you take him is to get the second Oaths of Moment. I think his other two abilities, like, aren't that great, but having two Oaths of Moments targets per round is pretty good. And you got to keep in mind, if you kill your first unit, but you don't kill the second, when you go to Overwatch it, that's still your Oath of Moment target, so you got full rerolls on Overwatch.
Yeah. That the second Overwatch is definitely like an early game thing.
Oh yeah.
I really like his other ability where he lets you you reroll failed battle shocks on units, and it's every unit within like 12 inches of them or something. You get some really good bonuses. And even like his third one, you get a free strat on a unit within 12 inches of him. 0 CP strat, which really plays into this like the whole like Gladius task force of it has really good stratagems that I want to use all the time.
Okay, and, so he could use the stratagem.
That's per turn also, I think is what that is.
Yeah, once per turn within 12 inches.
Yeah, and so you do that at the start of my command phase, and that's 2 free stratagems is what that is. It'll end up being.
Right.
From him, because it's my turn, then your turn, or my turn, then opponent's turn. So he's got like utility, and he stands up on a 3-up. I would always just plan to fail that. Right. And like if he passes, it's a bonus. But yeah, and he has his sword is ridiculous. Does just crazy damage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that one seems a little more fun, I guess. Like I think I see more utility, like the infiltrators, the heavy intercessors are kind of like diminishing returns by the time I'm putting them in the list. Like I have an infiltrator unit that'll sit on the back objective, and give that 12-inch bubble. So the other infiltrator, yeah, I can like infiltrate it and put it on an objective, but then that's pretty much its only job. Mm-hmm. The heavy intercessor is going to sit on an objective in the home field.
So 100 points for babysitting.
Yeah, and then the 10 assault intercessors is fine, but now I have 4 foot slogging melee units at this point without those 10 assault intercessors that are being led by characters that all do like crazy work in melee, and like the last assault intercessor unit probably isn't, it's diminishing returns is what it is. It's not going to be doing more than what any of the other units are going to be doing, and it might not be worth having. Like it might be better just to have the extra tricks. And Gilman's a lot smaller footprint than 10 intercessors.
Yeah, he's only 60 mil in his base, which is surprisingly small.
And if my whole army is rushing the board, guess who benefits from all of Gilliman's rules? It's my entire army. So
yeah.
Everybody gets the crazy things.
Yeah, him giving, he has a 6-inch aura for +1 OC.
That's what it's +1 OC and you reroll battle shock, right?
Yeah, which is pretty nutty, because you could kind of stretch things out in no man's land, where he could be within 6 inches of 2 units, and everybody in that unit is now OC3.
Yeah,
and you have assault intercessors on OC3 re-rolling battle shock tests.
Yeah. Really important about that rule too is that you choose at the beginning of your command phase, so it's before battle shock and before you score points for objectives.
Yep.
So if you're in like an OC match, you're out OC on an objective, you can pop that one for that turn. Not guarantee, but increase your odds of passing battle shocks. But then just out OC your opponent on things just from Gilliman's ability.
Yep.
So I don't know. People try and have a nicely painted Gilliman. You know, like is that so terrible? You know,
Yeah, I personally, I think I would stick with the list you have. I like having the more troops. I like having that flexibility. Having a second group of infiltrators, man, it gives you the flexibility to, all right, cool. This one's going to actually infiltrate and take this objective on my opponent's weak side,
yeah,
and then with the other one, I'm just going to stick them in this corner, a foot away from the actual corner of the table, and then string them out as much as I can. Um, the heavies sitting on your home objective, they're kind of hard to shift. They get +1 or -1 AP to incoming damage if it's D1 and they're on an objective.
yeah. I do have a lot of Gravis armor in my list, and a lot of 3 wound minis or more.
Mm-hmm.
So, normally I would say, like, Gravis minis they're pretty easy to kill anymore. It seems like they go down quick with the 3-up save and the like multi-damage weapons and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, combining those with the aggressors, the inceptors, the eradicators, the blade guard, the company heroes, all like moving up the board basically, are being a threat. Like, yeah, the heavy intercessors might never get touched.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's a big possibility. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I would go with that. I don't think Gilliman gives you a whole lot of utility. I don't think that the bonus to OC is like very situational. Your melee is so good that I really wouldn't be worried about it. Like you're not going to get out OC'd by anything really, especially like 2 OC on everything. You get a consolidate and a pile in, or vice versa, pile in and then consolidate. I think you have enough board presence to just take an objective marker and just sit on it. And then like you have to be shifted off of it, and if you're stuck in melee, cool. Now here come the blade guard right behind them. Here come the aggressors right behind them.
Yeah. Yeah, run those assault intercessors up first. Make people kill those, and then right behind is a bunch of other stuff. Yep. Yeah, I think it's worth trying. I still need to actually play a game with this list, so that'll be something we'll have to do in the next week or two, right? And I have 5 infiltrators I need to paint now, as well as these 3 aggressors that I'm assembling right now. So I do have them. No, I own them. So
okay. You actually did end up getting the aggressors.
I did, yes.
Where'd you find them, at the local game store, or?
I actually found them online. I decided I got them at the same price, and I decided to not risk it because our local store has had a lot of trouble getting things in good time when you order from them. But it's been good 3.5 weeks or something since I ordered them. So
yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, because I was there when you ordered them.
Yeah, so I figured I would just grab them online and have them. I spend so much money in my local store anyway. I don't feel bad.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I have some things to paint, and then we have some lists. I have list things to test. I hate like not having games on a list when I go into a tournament.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Definitely not how I used to play. I used to be very much like I set my army and I keep it that way, and I just play more with it. 40k is a different beast now than it was in 5th edition, though. And it's definitely a different beast than like Star Wars Armada, which was a game I would play competitively. So, which never got FAQs or changes.
Right.
Getting stuff every couple months.
Yeah, there wasn't no like 2.5 edition like this has been.
Right. Yeah, 5th edition was what you get, and your army book or your codex is good for the next 5-6 years.
God, that'd be so nice here, but
Yeah, it was. it's grass is always greener, right? Like that's the like people hated it when that was the case, but you're like, GW, just let me spend my money. I just want to buy books.
Yeah.
They got their wish. It's like the monkey's paw curls, and now you have to buy a new book every 3 months or something. But yeah, so that's my list. Those are my thoughts going into this tournament. I'm sure I'll be talking about my final list, and we plan on doing an episode talking about the tournament afterwards, which we'll talk about later. But you guys will get to see my final list and all my thoughts and how things went. But Xen, how about you, man? What about your list? What do you got going on?
So my list has been kind of fine-tuned and tweaked because I've been playing this list ever since my second game in your tabletop simulator tournament that you were running for like newbies and
League.
Yeah, the league. Yeah, it wasn't a tournament; it was a league. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started the league by playing Anvil Siege Force, which I think is what it's called. It sucks. The Imperial Fist
It does.
specific detachment is the worst in the book, I think, hands down.
No, I think First Company's worse.
Yeah, I think they have worse strats, but yeah, the Imperial Fist one is rough, man.
Yeah, Imperial Fists are always bad.
Yeah. The whole skewing your army around, hey, let's sit still and shoot, is terrible. Especially with how killy things are, multi-damage things. You would move up your gun line and then sit there like turn 2, turn 3, and just get mowed down. Or you're sitting on an objective in no man's land, you're just going to get charged, and then, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, just brutal. Once that first game I lost against, I think it was Vallejo, I said, you know what? Let's give this Iron Hands detachment a shot. And after some tweaking, I settled on this list. I've been playing it ever since. I feel super comfortable with it. Really enjoy it. So it is 2,000 points right on the nose. It is Iron Storm Spearhead is the detachment. I'm running Tor Garadon, one of 2 named characters for Imperial Fist.
Lysander. Shame.
Yeah, no Lysander. He could only go with, I believe, Assault Termes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not running a list around that. That's kind of silly. His abilities aren't that great anyway. I think he blanks a damage once per game. It's very bizarre.
Yeah. I wasn't seriously expecting you to take Lysander. I was just memeing. But.
Yeah. He's really not that good. What is it? When he's leading a unit, if the strength of an attack is greater than or equal to the toughness of your unit, it's -1 to wound. And
that's not terrible,
once per battle, at the start of a phase, you gain a 2-up invuln for the phase. He has 100 points, and he only has a melee ability. It's not a bad one, but it's not. Yeah, that's kind of poop. So yeah, Tor Garadon.
Is his Thunderhammer strength 10?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep, it's a strength 10, AP -3, 3 damage. Hits on a 2 with dev wounds.
Actually, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not a bad weapon, but
No.
everything else is just kind of whatever.
Everything all considered, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not that great. Yeah. So I'm running Tor Garadon.
I got how many times I can get you to say you ran Tor Garadon.
I got 3 Tech Marines. Each one of them is buffed with what was previously an aura. It's no longer. So I have one of them gives 1 vehicle lethals. Another one gives 1 vehicle the ability to fall back or charge and still shoot. And then the third one just blanks a damage. I'm sorry?
Fall back and advance?
No, fall back or advance and still
shoot and charge.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then the third one, just on your first failed save, you just blank the damage. Or no, on any failed save, excuse me. Which is really good.
Really good. Yeah, it's really good. Yep.
I have a squad of 5 heavy intercessors. They go with Tor Garadon. I have 2 5-man squads of intercessors. I have 2 5-man squads of infiltrators. I have a group of suppressors. And I have my Inceptor squad. I have 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, all with the same loadout. They get the Macroplasma Incinerator, Onslaught Gatling Cannon, Twin Fragstorm Grenade Launcher, and an Icarus Rocket Pod. I have a Vindicator with a Stormbolter and Hunter Missile. I have a Gladiator Lancer with a Rocket Pod, Iron Hail Heavy Stubber, and a Stormbolter. And yeah, so the way I run this list is Tor goes with the heavies, and they're basically a home objective sitter. They can peek out and do some damage if need to, but usually it never gets to that point. Depending upon the opponent, they might come out and see some action because Tor can do some wicked damage to knights. So if I have any knight opponent, Tor is going to come out to play for sure. I have two Tech Marines go with my strong side of the board, which is 1 to 2 Redemptors and my Gladiator. Usually that's the fallback and shoot guy or the lethal guy. Those 2 Tech Marines go on that side of the board. And then on the quote-unquote weak side of the board, I bring my Vindicator and he goes with the Tech Marine that blanks a damage. Given how the games have been playing out, I might flip-flop the Gladiator for the Vindicator and have the Vindicator on the strong side of the board. But it just depends. I usually like to put the Vindicator opposite large groups of enemies because that casino cannon on that thing can wipe a unit quick. Especially if he's hitting on 2s because he's buffed by the Tech Marine. My infiltrators, I usually have one screen in the back or both screen in the back if my opponent has like a lot of deep strike threats. Or I could push them both up or at least one. And what I'm going to have to do is like switch things up a little bit. I think my intercessors are going to have to be behind my tank column instead of in front of it. I think I'm going to have to be a little bit more cagey with them, given how much more important they are now than they were at in edition 10.0.
Yeah, and we're at for this tournament, 2 out of the 3 missions have mission rules that focus on battle line.
Yep.
One of them you actually score VP. It's Raise the Banners that we're playing. So.
Oh, okay. Yep.
You really do need to keep your battle line alive because that's an extra. Is it? I'm not quite sure how the rule is worded. It's weird, but it could be extra couple per turn or just an extra few like over the course of the game, depending on when you calculate those points. But yeah, right. So keeping your intercessors safe, I think, is a good call.
Yeah, and with me having 3 Redemptors on the field, the Vindicator, and my suppressors, that was like a big like long range, I forgot about them kind of threat.
Yeah.
I'm not really too worried about my opponent's battle line as much because I think I have the ability to get them off the board as quickly as possible. If I could kill a lot of their battle line units first, then I think the game is going to be like heavily skewed in my favor.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if I get on objectives in the midfield and just kind of park there and sit and wait. Yeah, it's kind of hard to shift once that happens.
Yeah, putting a bunch of dreadnoughts on objectives.
Yeah.
Dreadnoughts.
Yep.
Nevertheless, get pretty difficult to kill.
With the Tech Marine behind them, repairing them and buffing them. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I want to ask you about your list.
Sure.
Tor Garadon. How many points is Tor Garadon?
I literally just closed it out. I think he's less than 100. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Like
he might be a little bit over. He's 90. He's cheaper than Lysander, yeah.
Okay, that's weird. All right. He goes with the heavy intercessors, and you said you kind of just use them to sit on the back line?
Yeah, typically, yeah.
Can I ask why? Because it seems like a lot of points. That's almost 300 points you're committing.
No, I only have 5 heavies.
Oh, it's just 5 heavies. Okay.
Yeah.
Not a full squad. Okay.
No. It's mostly because I like Tor Garadon.
Oh yeah.
There's no other reason that I'm bringing him besides like I really just like the guy. It's a cool mini. I customized mine a little bit, and I just want him on the field. So like fuck it, I'll work him into the list somehow, some way. I did have one game in your league where I played a Knights player. And I finally got to use him against Knights because I've always heard legends of how good he could be. And yeah, he went up and he punched a war dog, almost a full health war dog, to death. A Knight shot at him, didn't do anything. Charged him, took a wound or 2 off, and then Tor punched the wounded Knight to death.
He did like 16 damage or something.
He did 16 damage to him. Yeah. I rolled hot. I really did, but I did 16 damage to the Knight.
Just seeing that potential, like watching it happen.
Yeah. I've been waiting for it, man. I've been waiting for it since started playing with him back in 9th. So
yeah. You remember when I would was with the Necrons at the start of 10th, I would just take a bunch of precision, like the Hex Mark would just kill him because his rule of like return fire.
Yeah. The Hex Mark Destroyer, like you just shoot back every single chance you got.
Yeah. Or Tor.
Yeah.
All right.
So. I've never seen Tor really do anything. So him being on the home objective and just sitting there, and it's so hard to shift, man. He's so hard to shift, especially with like the heavies behind him. They're all getting that strat, or not that strat, that like data sheet ability where you're unable to move them. Not unable to, excuse me. Where you get
kill.
Yeah, anytime you're on an objective marker and it's one damage 1 incoming, you get +1 to your save. I'm incorrect. It's not AP. You just get +1 to your save.
Yeah, just straight up +1 to your save. Yeah, so they go up
Yeah,
to 2-up save.
yeah. If it's D1 0 AP, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a 2-up save. That's insane.
Yeah, which is it's really nice. Yeah.
So yeah. It's. I'm pretty happy with my list. It's not a great list. It's certainly not a meta chasing list. But I do like it. These are all minis that I already owned. The only thing I had to get for this list was 2 more Tech Marines and 3 Inceptors. Other than that, I owned everything on here. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this list. It's I could play it somewhat aggressively because of the armored columns that I form with the dreadnoughts and the tanks. The Vindicator still does massive amounts of work for this list, especially just being on the weak side of my board alone with the guy that blanks a damage behind him.
Yeah.
T11 2-up save on the Vindicator is brutal. Very, very hard to get through. So even if you do a bunch of damage to him, whatever, you have a bunch of AP, like it's still like I could blank that. That's cool. Thanks. Try again next turn maybe. But yeah, I'm happy with this list. I'm confident in it, and yeah, I think the only thing that I'm really looking to do in this tournament is I just want to get 1 win. If I end that tournament 1 and 2, I'm happy. Like that's my only objective in this whole tournament. I'm shooting very low. I'm keeping my expectations low.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. It's my first tournament in person. Playing on TTS versus playing in person are 2 totally different beasts.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be loud. I'm gonna be exhausted. Feet are gonna hurt at the end of it.
Yep.
It's got all the things I'm just planning on happening.
Yep. And I think we only get like a couple breaks here and there. It's not that great. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Do you know if the LGS has like drinks and stuff on site, or like are we bringing a cooler? Like, what the hell are we gonna do for that?
Okay, cooler.
yeah. I don't know what the hell we're doing.
Walk in with like a full size like igloo cooler or whatever with
yeah, bottles
like
of water
ice
and ice in it.
Yeah, there we go. Just sell them. No, they have vending machines there.
Oh, I never noticed them. Okay, cool.
There's also like a little like quickie mart. There's a little like drive through.
There is like, right there.
There's one
right
there. You could just walk up and grab stuff.
Right.
So,
yeah, I forgot it's like literally right there. So
so
okay,
things, and then we're 5 minutes from like any decent lunch spot. It's a decent location. So
well, I have to talk about this real quick because this is very much like an Ohio specific thing, and it boggles my fucking mind because I had thought maybe it's just like an area thing, right? Because I had lived for a little bit in southern Ohio, and I thought, okay, maybe it's just an area thing. No, there was some in Kentucky, none in West Virginia. And then I move up here, and there are more up here. Okay. And then, I X'd around, and, people from Michigan have never seen it before. Ohio has drive-through convenience stores.
Yes, we do. Yep.
And it is the craziest thing I've ever seen. So you pull into a
it's
large...
like a tunnel.
Like a tunnel, like a cutout, like it's almost like a converted car wash. But instead of, like, the brushes and shit being there, it's just coolers.
Yep.
And
it's wild. Yeah, I don't understand it either. It's the laziest thing.
Yeah. and people use them not for like convenience store things, right? Like it's not like people go in there and like, yeah, like I assume some people do, of course. Hey, let me get a drink and like a pack of cigarettes, whatever. No, people go in and they like do their food shopping, man. In their car. Yeah,
I've never seen that. I do not doubt it one bit.
Oh, it must have been a Southern Ohio thing then. Because you would see people like, yeah, let me get a loaf of bread and gallon of milk and dozen eggs. Let me check them eggs first too, lady. Like what the hell are you doing? Like you can't get out of your car. You're gonna pay like a huge amount more just because you want to sit in your vehicle. Like I don't understand that at all.
Oh yeah. It does. It never made any sense to me either. I have never been in a drive-through convenience store.
Yeah, I went to one once and because I needed cigarettes. And I was like, this just feels wrong.
You're just like uncomfortable the whole time.
Yeah, because they like walk up to your car, like they come out of the woodworks, right? And they like walk up to your car and they're like, "Hi, what can I get you?" Like,
out of the shadows.
Yeah, a pack of cigarettes, and like, all right, cool. And they take my credit card and just walk away out of sight. And they come back with a receipt and the cigarettes later. Yeah,
I don't like that. I don't like that. See, I've never been in one of those places, so
yeah, it's weird. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah, no, I'm not just giving some some dude at a convenience, a walk at a drive-through convenience store, my credit card.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. It's a very weird experience. I hated every second of it because like you're looking around and you're literally looking at the coolers that would be inside of a convenience store. You're literally looking at like, oh, there's like the Coke case and there's like the Mountain Dew case and there's the water case and like you're in your vehicle like looking around in this and it's like dark because you're in a building. It's weird, man. It's such a weird experience.
Are you good?
Yeah, sorry.
Good? Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Do we need a Zen rants about, like, what really grinds my gears? And you just go on rants about Ohio?
Yeah. Don't get me started on the cornmeal on the bottom of pizzas, dude. It's an hour episode in and of itself.
Man, I do that. I do that when I make pizzas.
Yeah, of course you do.
It's so easy to not, they don't stick, man.
Yeah, whatever.
It's so nice. Yeah,
disgusting.
it's not disgusting. It's good.
Use semolina flour like a real person.
Semolina flour.
Yeah.
I'm not going to find semolina flour here, except for that Middle Eastern market I just went to.
Yeah.
Had bags of semolina flour, but you know what? That's far away from me. So
right. All right. So yeah, what are you expecting to get out of this tournament? Like I said, I'm just expecting to get one win. What expectations do you have for the tournament? Is there anything you want to accomplish? Anything like that?
Yeah, a couple things. I'm going to shoot for the moon here. I want 2 wins.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'd be really happy with 2 wins. I feel like I play 40K enough to where like I could get 2 wins.
Right.
So 2 wins would be great. And then my other like weird goal, and I've talked about this on stream, is I want to beat someone who is wearing a jersey.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that sounds pretentious or not, and it's not saying that just because someone has a jersey means they're better at the game than other people, but people wearing jerseys for miniature games tournaments is still something that's pretty new to me. Like when I was like actually going to tournaments back in 15 years ago, that was unheard of, and now it's like a fairly common thing. And like nobody did. Well, okay, I remember playing against one guy that did that at a Star Wars Armada tournament I went to, and he wouldn't tell me. I saw he had a jersey on. I was like, what does that mean? It just said something on. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, if I told you I had to kill you. I was like, all right, I'm gonna destroy this dude.
Okay.
And I did. It felt really good. So yeah, I know. That was my one experience playing against someone with a jersey. So yeah, I want to beat someone with a jersey and get 2 wins.
I have a question for you then.
Sure.
Would you feel, how much better would you feel if you beat somebody with a jersey and one of their like sponsor patches or whatever you want to call it was for Army Painter? Would you feel better about that or worse?
I mean, I feel like Army Painter just kind of sponsors everybody.
Yeah.
Except for me, because they saw my stream, so they turned me down. But
they had a spy for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah. Someone came and is like, "Hey, what do you think about Army Painter?" And I'm just like my eyes twitching, and I'm just, going on this rant to this stranger.
They
and
suck.
Yeah. Let me tell you about how they're deceptive with their market. Anyway, I mean, I would feel better if they had an Army Painter like sponsorship thing, only because I would know that their team is like legit being sponsored. And that would make me feel better, because to me, if you're sponsored, I feel like you have to have like, you got to be decent, right? Like,
yeah, or
the
you
team
just
has to like perform.
You just get lumped onto the team, right? Because like they could have their baby seal on the team. He gets a jersey.
They could, yeah, they very well could.
Yeah,
and I mean, if I have a turn where I'm just clubbing the baby seal, then hopefully the next round of the tournament I'm playing someone better. All things considered, how a tournament works. Like the winners go on to face the winners. So
right.
Maybe I'll face the other baby seal clubber or something like that's.
How pissed would you be? Because I would be pretty pissed. How pissed would you be to get paired up against me at some point in the tournament. I would personally hate that, man. Like, I don't want to play. Like, we play each other all the time. I don't want to play you. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I get it. I think we had talked about this briefly. I would actually bring it up to the TO if we were matched first round. I would bring it up specifically, say like, hey, we came together. Like, we should not be playing against each other first round.
Yeah, we're gay married for a Costco card.
Yes, yeah. So like we can't play. It's against the law for us to like play against each other, right? Like that's
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so what's gotten into you today, dude?
I don't know. I could cut that part out.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Just like you're talking about private conversations, man. What are you
Sorry, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
So, Costco card, man. We still haven't got that Costco card though.
No, we never did. We just got gay married for no reason.
Anyway, so I would mention to them that we need to switch. Like me and you need to be paired against other people.
Yeah, please, yeah.
If it's second round, like I'd be a little perturbed just because
if it's second round, I'm okay with it.
It means either we're both having a really good time or a really bad time at that point, second round. Because
right.
It's we'd either both won our games or both lost. If it's third, my ideal situation if we play each other is that we both won our first 2 games, and then we have to play each other the final round, and it's like, the winner of this game could be the winner of the tournament. So,
I'd be livid.
Yeah, but you're not playing in my house, so
yeah, maybe I get
different.
the W then. Maybe I get the W then.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey, remember,
I'd
though,
be so pissed.
Yeah. That last game just doesn't count at all, though. Like, that game is so... We played that game so wrong. It doesn't even count.
No, because we had our dreads shooting on 5s. Like, it was real stupid.
We were playing all kinds of rules wrong because...
Pariah Nexus.
I couldn't read a document. So, yeah. I promise I try to learn the rules, guys. I try to know the rules.
Yeah, you're so confident about it, too. You were like, yup, I read it. Yup. I was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, 20 years of wargaming experience, man. I got you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. The problem with 20 years of wargaming experience is that's about like 20 different rule sets.
Right.
That I've learned. So maybe my old man brain is just blending things together at this point. But
yeah, it's a possibility.
Anyway, we already talked about this. It's GW's fault, not my fault. Okay.
Yeah. Whole points.
It's the real. We're blaming the corporate, whatever corporation for their problems, not for my reading and comprehension.
Yeah, sure.
Not my illiteracy dooming us.
Sure, whatever.
So yeah. I want to beat someone with the jersey and get 2 wins. That's my goal.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, hopefully we don't play each other unless it's like the third round of the tournament. We both play both of our games.
Yeah. Because then like that'd be really cool. Like I'll be very happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, I would be less upset with it than you probably would because our record against each other is skewed a little bit toward me.
A little bit, so, yeah. Like, yeah, it's pretty much like 95 to 5% of my win rate. Not including the 1,000-point games, because I feel like the 1,000-point games that we played in preparation for the other tournament we went to was kind of 50-50. I beat you, you beat me, I beat you, you beat me. It was very, very all over the place.
That was with my Gene Stealer Colts. We were it was a little like Christmas thing. 9th edition 1,000-point games were the dumbest thing.
The meta was insane. Yeah, like
they were played on the half-size board.
Mm-hmm.
And so Zen could like fill his deployment zone, and then Gene Stealer Colts can't do anything.
Yeah.
All right, I'll run at you in the open. Exactly what Imperial Fist want. Like this is what I have to do. Yeah.
Yep. Just hold the line and shoot.
Yeah, and then I played a Tau player, and I crushed the guy. So I don't know. It was.
Yeah, I played a. I played a Votan guy. The codex and stuff had just come out, and he was playing Votan. And I almost tabled the guy in like turn 3. I think the first turn he moved like his what was it, Sagittar or something like that. Like
the little truck.
Yeah, he moved it out of cover and my suppressors blew it up. Like insane, man. Like the way that it was going for me. Like I played another game, but the terrain kind of screwed me. I got stuffed. It was the deployment too, where it's like the circle in the middle and you take corners. So I didn't really have a whole lot of firing lanes. Yeah. Just kind of got screwed
weird
on that
for
one.
the little like half-size boards too.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. Yeah,
it's strange. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Our plan is to come back with our next episode. So this tournament, you guys will probably be hearing this podcast about a week before the tournament. And
Sounds
then
good.
And then we'll be back shortly after the tournament. We'll have another episode. And we're going to talk about our experience, how things went, what worked, what didn't work, how I guess we just enjoyed the whole thing, like the event in general. And again, this is just an RTT. It's just a small tournament with like 24 people at our local store. They just happen to actually be doing tournaments at our local store now. So we're like, sweet, let's go to one and let's see how it is. But yeah, this isn't the last you've heard of this event from us, because we will be talking about it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, otherwise that's probably the next podcast episode will be that. So I'm enjoying doing this. I'm just chilling and hobbying and talking, and Zen's just sitting there moving his mouse back and forth. So
Yep, making sure my computer doesn't fall asleep.
yeah. Classic duo here. But yeah, and I mean, with that, I guess we probably just call it for today. I don't know. I don't have anything else.
No.
Bookkeeping things to talk about.
No.
Yeah, if you guys enjoyed the podcast, please let us know. Give us feedback. If you have any suggestions, any criticisms, constructive, please put a comment, send me a message. Let me know what you think, and I will take that to heart. And I plan on changing things as we need to, and kind of making things more enjoyable. But yeah, that's all I got for today. So you guys have a wonderful day. And we will see you guys in the next podcast.
Take care, everybody.
All right, bye, everybody.